All right, good evening, baseball fans. Welcome back, and we're going to continue the KCCL dead ball tournament. So tonight, 1912 Boston Red Sox, 1884 Providence Grays. Hopefully, Ken Castro will get in here and give us some wisdom on how to manage these Providence Grays. Let's get it started. Red Sox leading this series 1-0. All right, looks like we are ready to go. So let's get to the ballpark. All right, getting underway here. Let's look at there's Robbie Warburg. Hi, Robbie. Let's get to the starting defense here for the 1884 Providence Grays. We're playing here at Huntington Avenue grounds. And this is actually going to be this is the first year Fenway opens. This will be everything taking place in Massachusetts. So Cliff Carroll in left field, Paul Hines in center, Paul Radford in right field from first to third, Joe Start, Jack Farrell, Arthur Irwin, Jerry Denny, Barney Gilligan catching, and Charlie Sweeney takes the hill tonight. Doing fine, thank you, Robbie. So Charlie Sweeney, in the 1884 season, went 17-8, a 1.55 earned run average, 221 innings pitched, 29 walks, 145 strikeouts. Providence playing in the American Association, and the league hitting just 824 against Charlie Sweeney with a 187 average. Leading it off here for the 1912 Boston Red Sox, the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker, hitting 353 with a home run and 4 runs batted in and 2 stolen bases in this tournament. So the weather here, looking nice. It's 46 degrees, clear, wind 4 miles per hour out to left center in this big, big ballpark, site of the first modern World Series in 1903. And there's Big Clue. He says, let's go Providence. And we are underway here as the 1-2 pitch comes to Tris Speaker, fastball. Speaker swings, base hit, right field. Paul Radford up with it, gets it in to Farrell at second. So Speaker aboard, serious threat to steal. Larry Gardner, the third baseman now for the Red Sox, having a great tournament, hitting 438 with a home run and 1 run batted in. Boston again leading this series over Providence, 1-0. This is a best of 5. Charlie Sweeney with a check of Speaker, and Gilligan up with it to throw down. And Tris Speaker has himself a stolen base. So runner in scoring position. Runner in scoring position here. Nobody out. Larry Gardner back in the box, and the 0-1 delivery by Sweeney. Gardner swings, bunt, and Barney Gilligan up with it and fires on to Jack Farrell at second, covering for out number 1. Tris Speaker moves to third on the play. Jake Stahl, not to be confused with MV's favorite player, Chicky Stahl as he calls him. Jake Stahl hitting 231 with a run batted in. Barney Gilligan sets the target. Charlie Sweeney winds and delivers the 0-2. And Jake Stahl sends this one deep to center field. Paul Hines back making the catch. Speaker will tag at third and trot home with the game's first run. So Boston posting one here in the top of the first. And that'll bring in Duffy Lewis, whom Red Sox fans should know even after all these years, hitting 200 with 1 run batted in this tournament. Lewis hit 284 in the regular season. Sweeney pitching with the bases empty, 2 down, the 1-2 fastball. Lewis swings at this one, fly ball to center field, and Hines has it in his sights and between his bare hands, and that does it. But The 1912 Red Sox pick up 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We played 1/2 inning. The Red Sox won, and the Providence Grays coming to bat. As Ken Castro says, let's go Grays. Starting defense now for the 1912 Red Sox from left to right. In left field, it's Duffy Lewis in center, Tris Speaker in right, Harry Hooper. From first to third, Jake Stahl, Steve Yerkes, Heine Wagner, Larry Gardner, Bill Kerrigan, and Buck O'Brien. And sharp-eyed among you will notice a lot of Irishmen on both sides. In fact, most of this Boston lineup are all a bunch of mix, so there you go. All right, Paul Hines will lead it off here. Hines hitting .400 with 4 runs batted in. Buck O'Brien, 1 win, no losses. He worked a third of an inning, gave up 1 hit, and that's what he's done in this tournament so far. But in 1912, a 2.58 earned run average, 20 wins, 13 losses, 275 2/3 worked, walked 90 and struck out 115. O'Brien with the 0-1 pitch. Hines swings, and this one will go for extra bases. Clubbed into left field. Duffy Lewis giving chase here at Huntington Avenue grounds, and Paul Hines will pull in with a leadoff double, and just like that, Providence with the tying run at second base. Joe Start hitting .400, so he's 2 for 5 in the series with a double. O'Brien from the stretch, and the 2-1 to Joe Start. Fastball line to second base. Steve Yerkes has it for the putout. Nice play by Yerkes at second. So 1 away, and Paul Hines remains at second for Cliff Carroll. Carroll also 2 for 5 hitting .400. O'Brien lets it go. Carroll swings at the first pitch. There goes Hines. The throw down to third, and Hines steals third. So Providence coming out with an aggressive running game here. And now the tying run just 90 feet away. Kerrigan with a quick throw down to third, but Hines in there ahead of the tag by Larry Gardner. O'Brien from the stretch in the 0-1. Carroll, base hit, RBI, scoring Paul Hines, and Cliff Carroll, courtesy of this RBI single, has tied it up here in the bottom of the first. It's the Red Sox and Grays knotted at 1. So again, you'll see no stolen bases listed for these 1884 Providence Grays, as that stat would not be kept until 1887. Barney Gilligan now in there. Gilligan 0 for 4 in this tournament. Carroll at first, good lead. O'Brien checks the runner. Here's the delivery. There goes Carroll, the throw down by Kerrigan, the slide, and another stolen base. So 2 stolen bases here for the Providence Grays, and one of them pays off. So another runner in scoring position is catcher Barney Gilligan back in the box now. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Fastball. He swings. Chopping ground ball to third. Gardner with the throw across the diamond onto Jake Stahl to retire the Providence catcher for out number 2 here in the bottom of the first. And he says, yes, that's the Providence baseball he knows. All right, here's Jerry Denny. Jerry Denny, the third baseman, 0 for 5 in this tournament. Jerry Denny in 1884 hit .248, 6 home runs, 59 runs batted in, 57 runs scored for the hot corner man for the Providence Grays. O'Brien sets and fires the 2-2 pitch. Denny swings in this fastball. This one out to right field. Hooper back toward the wall. Denny gave it a ride, but a big loud out. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the top of the second, and it's the Red Sox 1 and the Grays 1. Heine Wagner will lead it off here for the Boston Red Sox of 1912. Wagner hitting .250 in the tournament with a run batted in, hit .274 in the regular season with 6 triples, 2 home runs. He batted in 68. Sweeney winds and fires the 1-1 fastball. Wagner bounces this one deep to short, and 6-3 put out. Nice play there by Arthur Irwin at short. 1 up, 1 down here in the second for catcher Bill Kerrigan. Hall of Famer Harry Hooper waits on deck. Kerrigan hitting just .154 with a run batted in. He's 2 for 13 in the tournament, had a 243 average in 1912 for the Red Sox with 24 runs batted in. Sweeney deals the 1-2 curveball. Kerrigan, big swing and a miss on that hammer, and Charlie Sweeney picks up strikeout number 1. So 2 up, 2 down here for Harry Hooper, right fielder. Again, encourage you to read. Hooper wrote a great journal of his experiences, especially as a rookie in the major leagues. Hooper hitting a 400. He is 6 for 15, a double, a triple, a run batted in. Sweeney deals, and Hooper swings in the first pitch. Base hit, right field. Paul Radford up with it, gets it in to the infield to Farrell, to Jack Farrell very quickly. Need to find something a little better for Jack Farrell. Either that or put this in here and ungrainy it a little bit. So 2 down here for second baseman Steve Yerkes, hitting .333 in the tournament. Last year, Yerkes hit .252. Batted in 42. 2 away here in the top of the second. Charlie Sweeney into his, throws over. Actually, and Hooper dives back ahead of Joe Start's sweep tag. Here's a delivery from Charlie Sweeney, the 1-0. Yerkes connects, base hit. Center field, Paul Hines up with it. Hooper rounding second. He will make third on the play. So runners at the corners for the Scarlet Hose. 2 down here in the top of the second. So threatening here with pitcher Buck O'Brien. Buck O'Brien making his first at-bat. In 1912, though, he hit .138, managed 6 runs batted in. Yerkes at first, just 4 stolen bases in 1912, none in this tournament thus far. Sweeney brings it home from the stretch, and the 3-1 to O'Brien. Fastball cut on, chopper up the middle. Farrell barehands it, literally, over to Joe Start to retire O'Brien. So the Red Sox strand 2, and we go to the bottom of the second inning, and we are deadlocked at 1. Mr. Wrestling is in here, so should kind of like this game. We have an 1884 team in here. Jack Aswinski, what's nice about baseball mobile 2223 is the photos. Yeah, pretty much the same photos you have here, but it's the way you install them that's really nice. Absolutely. All right, anyhow, Arthur Irwin will start things off here for Providence. Irwin hitting .250 with, he hasn't batted into anybody yet, but he does have a run scored. O'Brien deals the 1-2 curveball, and this one a swing and a miss, and Irwin goes down for out number 1. Jack Farrell, he is 2 for 4 with a stolen base in the tournament. For the Grays in 1884, he hit .217 with a home run, 6 triples, 37 runs batted in, and 70 runs scored. Buck O'Brien's 0-1 changeup, and this one up the middle. Steve Yerkes fires onto Jake Stahl in plenty of time to retire Farrell for out number 2. Paul Radford now steps in. Radford hitting .333. 2 runs scored, stolen base. Yes, they are indeed automatically installed. As Mr. Wrestling says, yeah, I love this matchup. Hope that the Grays defeat this bunch of modern whippersnappers. Yep, these modern whippersnappers, 5 years before the United States' official entry into the First World War. So, yeah, these hippies from 1912. There's a look at hippie Buck O'Brien. All right, here we go. Love it. O'Brien's delivery, the 1-1 to Paul Radford. Change up, and this one smacked hard down the third base line. Larry Gardner bobbling the ball out there. That's going to be scored an E5 and the first Boston error. And Radford aboard, courtesy of the error, and that brings up pitcher Charlie Sweeney. Sweeney making his first at bat in this tournament, but in the regular season hit .298 in 168 at bats too. Managed a home run, 19 runs batted in. He scored 24 times. Here's the wind in the delivery. The 1-2 to Charlie Sweeney. Radford was on the move there. Gardner bobbling the ball again. And Boston giving out all kinds of gifts here. So the 2 errors for the 1912 Boston Red Sox, both charged to third baseman Larry Gardner. And now Paul Radford at second and Charlie Sweeney at first. And we swing back to the top of the order for the Providence Grays and Paul Hines, who doubled off the wall down the third baseline back in the first. 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning. O'Brien peers in, has the sign from Bill Kerrigan. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Curveball to Hines, base hit left field. Rounding third is Paul Radford. We'll see if he comes in and he does. Duffy Lewis will just make the play to third to prevent Sweeney from moving to third, and the Providence Grays take a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second with 2 out. Charlie Sweeney is at first, or second. Paul Hines at first for Joe Start, who is 0-for-1. He lined to second back in the first. Yep, Old Haas did pitch in game 1. Here's the 0-1. Changeup. Joe Start swings. This one poked foul along the third base side. So Start back in there. Here is the 0-2 delivery. Fastball. Start swings. Grounder to short. Heine Wagner up with it. Close play at first, and Joe Start beats it out and picks up an infield single. 4th hit for the Providence Grays of 1884, and the bases are loaded for Cliff Carroll. So the left fielder, 1-for-1 RBI single, scoring Paul Hines back in the first. So Buck O'Brien in a bit of a pickle here against these Providence guys. Sets and fires. The count even on Carroll. Fastball chopped up the middle. Yerkes will go to Wagner to retire the side. However, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. 3 left, and after 2, it's the Providence Grays 2, the 1912 Boston Red Sox 1. Back at the top of the order here for the Red Sox. And Tris Speaker leads it off. Speaker with a single back in the first inning. Nice day for baseball here at Huntington Avenue grounds. Harry Stevens making his way through the crowd, regaling them with sonnets from Shakespeare and poetry by Keats, Byron. Well, Byron, don't know. The ladies are going to get excited about Lord Byron, of course, Shelley. Lefty Speaker now in the box. Charlie Sweeney winds and deals the 1-1. The changeup pulled the string, and Irwin making a nice play there at short, but this one is going to get away from Joe Start. However, so Irwin making the nice pick, but bad throw. Joe Start, of course, these 1884 Grays not wearing gloves. And Tris Speaker ending up in scoring position. By the way, so I know Mr. Wrestling just started reading it, and I just picked up 59 and 84, that book, and also Tales from the Dead Ball Era, and just waiting for the summer of whiskey and beer. That should be here Tuesday or Wednesday. So gearing up for my 1 week off from June 14th to the 21st, and just going to read a lot of baseball and do some games here too. But it's going to be a baseball week off. Hope to go see a Harrisburg Senators game with Christopher Slovic. He'll be returning to America for a visit in June. So looking forward to that possibility. All right, Larry Gardner now in the box with Speaker in scoring position, the tying run. Charlie Sweeney deals the 1-2 to Gardner. Curveball swung on, base hit up the middle. Hines has it. Speaker with his speed rounding third as Hines is bobbling the ball out there in center. Gardner gets to second, and that's going to be a single and an error charged to the Providence Grays, and the Boston Red Sox tie it up here in the top of the third. It's now 2-2. Each team, these teams actually identical across in the line score, 2, 4, and 2. The difference, the Grays have stranded 4. The Red Sox have left 2 out on the pond. So Larry Gardner in scoring position for Jake Stahl. Here's the pitch. Stahl swings, gets the bunt down. Gilligan pouncing on it, fires it onto Farrell for out number 1. The next time we come to the KCCL tournament, it's going to be two 19th century teams facing off. The 1894 Baltimore Orioles and the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. And the 1885 White Stockings holding a 1-0 lead over the very, very famous Baltimore Orioles. So do hope to see you in that game. That'll be tomorrow. Hopefully get in a decent amount of baseball tomorrow afternoon into the evening with this. Hopefully game 1 of the 1915 World Series, and then we'll cap it off with something from MLB The Show. So we'll see. Hopefully, or I may do a Shanks League game somewhere in there. Who knows? All right, so Duffy Lewis is 0-for-1, fly to deep center. Charlie Sweeney sets and deals the 0-2 delivery. Fastball coming into Lewis, and smack this base hit into right field. Radford up with it. Coming home to score is Larry Gardner on the RBI. And Boston now out into the lead over the 1884 Grays. It's 3-2. So both of these teams coming out swinging and running. Providence with 2 stolen bases in this game. As shortstop Heine Wagner steps in, grounded to short. And again, I always say this, no relation to Hannes Wagner. Not even in the same league or the same family for that matter. Sweeney checks Duffy Lewis at first. Of course, Duffy's Cliff named after Duffy Lewis. The 1-1 pitch to Heine Wagner, fastball. This one twisting foul, and this will make the grandstands on the third base side. Count 1-2 is Heine Wagner back in the box. Sweeney winds and fires. Fastball. And Wagner swings right through that fastball. So 2 down. And Duffy Lewis remains on first. Mr. Wrestling talking about the novel, or the book, I should say, 59 and 84 is great so far. Thank you, Ken, he says. So what year did catcher stop taking the pitch off a hop? And Ken Castro telling Mr. Wrestling he's read it twice. Solid research. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Bean says, I have a question. In my first year baseball mogul, I signed a free agent pitcher by the name of String Bean Williams for $4,800 and a team option of $2,800 for 3 years. Traded him for 6 prospects. Okay, just waiting for the question because right now it's a statement. I should tell you if it has anything to do with finances. I don't play finances in any games, my friend, so I wouldn't be able to answer. Andrew RW603 coming in, and as promised. So, Andrew, when you type, you will see a blue wrench beside your name. So thank you. He says, who is String Bean Williams? Wow. I don't know. We can certainly look here really quickly. Ken will probably know better than I. String Bean Williams, huh? Ah, there he is. Okay, so he only played for 2 years. Or no, he did. He played. Yeah, he did. Played. So let me see. He played for. Who did he play for? He played for the Brooklyn Royal Giants. So he was a Negro League player. How did he get into? How did he get into Baseball Mogul? Did they decide to add Negro Leagues? He's a Negro League player. Played from 1923 to 1925. Played part of the year with the Brooklyn Royal Giants in 1923 and 1924. He played for the Washington Potomacs and then was traded to the Atlantic City Bacharach Giants. Finished his career in 1925 with the New York Lincoln Giants. So played in the Eastern Colored League. He was a pitcher, 5 wins, 10 losses, a 5.42 career earned run average, 25 games worked. Started 13, no saves, worked 146 innings over his career, struck out 52, and a career whip of 1.589. So interesting if Baseball Mogul is bringing in Negro League players. So there you go. As Ken Castro helping out here on the, oh, you're welcome, Andrew. Ken Castro helping out on the research. That really surprises me. I didn't know that Clay was adding Negro Leaguers into Baseball Mogul, so good for him. Never knew that. I had no idea. I've only ever seen Major League players in there. But then again, I don't play the game as much as maybe I should to discover that. So again, it's good news to me. So thank you for that, Jackass Whiskey. All right, Bill Kerrigan is 0-for-1 here. Struck out back in the second. Duffy Lewis at first with 2 down. Duffy Lewis with 9 thefts in 1912. Charlie Sweeney winds and fires. There goes Lewis, the throw down by Gilligan, the tag, and Duffy Lewis caught stealing. Big play for Providence to end the innings. However, the 1912 Red Sox pick up 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's the 1912 Red Sox 3, the 1884 Providence Grays 2. Bernie Gilligan will start things off here for Providence. Grounded to 3rd back in the 1st inning. There's another picture of Barney. There he is. Quintessential 19th century player. I did kind of page through a little bit the 59-84, and they were showing a picture of Hoss Radbourn's hands. I mean, these guys didn't play with gloves. You see the calluses there and everything. Really can't wait to jump into that. But probably going to read it concurrently with, those good old university habits. Read 5 books at once. Reading it concurrently with Baseball in the Garden of Eden, which I'm purposely taking my time. Charlie O'Brien deals the 0-2 to Barney Gilligan. The fastball, this one, hard hit, chopper to 3rd, but Larry Gardner in a fluid motion fires across to Jake Stahl at first to retire Barney Gilligan for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Jerry Denny now will try to get his links here. Fly to very deep right back in the 1st, and this is a big, big ballpark. Extremely deep center field. This is almost a perfect square, actually. Huge, huge ballpark. O'Brien deals the 1-1 to Jerry Denny. Fastball sent down the right field line. Back in the corner, Harry Hooper slamming against the wall and making a great catch. Harry Hooper, one of the premier fielders of his day, and of course a Hall of Famer. So 2 quick outs here for shortstop Arthur Irwin, who struck out against Buck O'Brien back in the 2nd inning. O'Brien, this is O'Brien's only strikeout, by the way. Kerrigan sets, O'Brien deals, spitball to Irwin, comebacker. O'Brien comes off the mound to his left and throws out Irwin to retire the side. So 3 up, 3 down. We've played 3, and it's Boston 3, Providence 2. This is Huntington Avenue grounds, Andrew. The site of the first modern World Series between what would become the Boston Red Sox and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Boston defeating the Pirates 5-3 in the inaugural World Series, 1903, first modern World Series. Of course, in the 19th century, we had the Temple Cup, which some regard as the first World Series, if you will. Big Clue. Is Big Clue in here? He goes. He is in here answering. What setting? Asking. Oh, okay. So that was detracted, so we'll see. Or retracted, detracted, redacted. Off-topping, what setting gets the percentages? Seen on the bottom left. Oh, these guys over here. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to show you that. So this is something that you can, I think you do this in options. Not like, I don't know if it's this, is it this options? Here you can set that. There's so many in here, but I know that you can set this up in preferences somewhere. It's in preferences. These just show percentage of hits. I used to not like this until Steve Tate kind of converted me to it. Now I think it's Really, really cool. Although when I'm calling a game, I rarely pay attention to it unless it's a crucial game situation. But that, I think, is you can set up in preferences in the main part of the game. I don't know that you can set that up here, but I know you can before you start a game. As Andrew says, he likes it but hardly looks at it. Big Clue answering the question. 1880 was when the rules changed to require the pitch to be caught on the fly by the catcher. So that answers the catching on a short hop. Thank you, Big Clue. Again, get the best here. These are the best baseball scholars on the. I don't know you guys go to other channels, but everybody kind of congregates to this one. The best of the best here. Thanks, guys. All right, so Bill Kerrigan leads it off here, followed by Harry Hooper and Steve Yerkes for the 1912 Red Sox here in the top of the fourth. Charlie Sweeney deals. Here's the 1-2 spitball. Kerrigan sends this to first base. Joe Start waving off Sweeney, coming over to cover to retire Kerrigan for the first out of the visitors' half of the fourth inning. Hall of Famer Harry Hooper 1 for 1, single to right center his last time up. Sweeney deals to the lefty right fielder. The 0-1 fastball, slow ground ball to Irwin. It's short, throws to Joe Start, and Harry Hooper, they get him by a gnat's eyelash. So 2 quick outs here in the top of the fourth inning for second baseman Steve Yerkes. Yerkes with a single to right center back in the second. Sweeney winds and fires the 1-2, and Sweeney spears this one barehanded and fires on to Joe Start. So the Red Sox go down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and it's the Red Sox 3 and the Providence Grays 2 here in this continuing KCCL Dead Ball 19th Century Tournament on the Beatles Eternally Family Baseball Geek Squad channel. Jack Farrell will lead it off here now. Radford waiting on deck. Jack Farrell, the second baseman for the Providence Grays. Let's get another nice little grainy picture of him here. Jack Farrell grounded to second. Lionel Buck O'Brien thus far through 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout. So each team with 2 errors. So errors proving costly a bit in this game as O'Brien deals the 1-1. And base hit by Jack Farrell into left field. Speaker and Lewis converging. Lewis getting to the ball first and firing it into Heine Wagner. So Farrell aboard. That is hit number 5 for the Providence Grays. And here comes Paul Radford, the right fielder, grounded to third, but was safe on an error back in the second inning. O'Brien checks the runner. Farrell at first. Here's the wind and the pitch. And Farrell's off the races. Kerrigan's throw down will not be in time as Steve Yerkes' tag is late. So that is the 3rd stolen base by the Providence Grays in this game. Not seeing Providence run as much in the first game as they are in today's game here at Huntington Avenue. Sack him. Okay, so Ken, again, just use up if you can. If you can, I know that sack him is probably now past. Give me your pink glove of despair, as Steve Tate calls it, because especially with 19th century teams, I really, really need to get these names in my head. I know them, but still. So, yep, okay. So you're going to sacrifice, you want to sacrifice and move the runner from second to third. You got it. All right, Buck O'Brien wheels and deals. Radford gets a nice bunt down, and Gardner fires onto Yerkes, covering at first, and nice play by the manager of the Providence Grays as Farrell moves to third base and just 1 down. As Big Clue said, there's only 1 cause for despair, and that's when it's MV's hand inside the glove. All right, 8 here to watch Dead Ball 19th Century Baseball. Thank you very much, folks, those of you lurking and what have you. Appreciate you. All right, so Cousin Ken Castro, sort of conflicting interests in this one, as he predicted the 1912 Red Sox would win it all in this tournament, but his favorite 19th century team, the 1884 Providence Grays, poised to tie it up here. So Buck O'Brien now to face the pitcher Charlie Sweeney. He was safe on an error back in the second, which moved Paul Radford to second. O'Brien from the stretch in the 0-2. The changeup, and this one, a hard comeback to O'Brien. Fires it on to Jake Stahl at first for out number 2. And Farrell will remain at third. And here's Paul Hines. Now we're back at the top of the order for the Providence Grays. Good day at the plate for him so far, 2 for 2. Doubled off the wall in the first. An RBI single scoring Paul Radford in the second. Look out, Welsh Sheep. MV is no veterinarian. O'Brien, the 3-1 from the stretch. Hines draws the walk. So Providence, good eye up there by Paul Hines. And that brings up Joe Start. So Joe Start lined out to second back in the first, and an infield single in the second inning. So the Grays doing their scoring, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. For the Red Sox, 1 in the first and 2 in the third. So Jack Farrell, just 90 feet away, represents the tying run, 2 down. Buck O'Brien sets and works from the stretch. Start lays off this pitch, and it's a stolen base for Paul Hines. I looked like that was going to be a walk to me the way it was going, but Paul Hines basically trotting down to first, Kerrigan, or trotting down to second. Kerrigan not making a throw. That is another stolen base for Providence here. So 2 in scoring position with 2 down. And Buck O'Brien comes home with it now. The 1-0 to Joe Start. Joe Start swings, fly ball to center field, and Speaker has it in his sights and brings it down into his talons. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left, and a couple steals. We've played 4, and it's the 1912 Sox 3 and the 1884 Grays 2. Buck O'Brien, Tris Speaker, and Larry Gardner to bat for the 1912 Red Sox here in the 5th inning. Hey, Mel says that she's going to come on soon and say hi. We'll be looking forward to when that happens. Welcome in, MV. So your name was invoked, and here you are. The big clue is talking about your lack of veterinary experience there in Wales. All right, 0 for 1 for Buck O'Brien in the game. Grounded to second. Charlie Sweeney deals the 1-1. O'Brien swings. Hard hit. And O'Brien tearing around the bases will get into second with the double. Head first slide just ahead of the tag. And that one was hard hit. And for Paul Hines to handle that with no glove, props to him. So runner in scoring position for the Boston Red Sox. Nobody out. And we go back to the top of the order of the great Tris Speaker. Speaker has singled in the first, and he was safe on a throwing error in the third. The Gray Eagle waits for the delivery from Charlie Sweeney. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Fastball. Speaker swings. Fly ball to left. Carroll has it in his sights, makes the catch. Tagging at second, and O'Brien slides ahead of the Denny tag, and he is safe. So gutsy move there, as that ball was not hit that deeply to left field. And Buck O'Brien now just 90 feet away with the potential 4th Boston run here as Larry Gardner steps in. Sacrifice in the first and RBI in the third, scoring to Speaker. Sweeney deals from the stretch in the 0-2. Larry Gardner swings in this curveball. Base hit center field, just over the head of Jack Farrell. In to score is Buck O'Brien, and the Boston Red Sox out now to a 4-2 lead. Providence looking to even up the series here. Jake Stahl now batting with Gardner at first. Larry Gardner can go for a few. 25 steals in 1912 for Gardner. Sweeney winds and fires. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Curveball, and there goes Gardner. Hit and run was on. And this one fouled on the first base side. Count even now on Jake Stahl. Sweeney with a check of the runner. Gardner at first. The wind in the 2-2 pitch. This one gets by Barney Gilligan, and Larry Gardner will make it to second base. So full count on Jake Stahl. Sweeney's delivery. Stahl swings, and this one is going to easily score. Run number 5, Stahl going for 3. Radford hits Farrell, the cutoff man. Farrell's throw to Denny at third, the tag, and Stahl is safe for his first triple of this tournament. And the 1912 Boston Red Sox pulling away now. It's 5-2, as MV says. He's dozing but listening at the same time. Well, I've heard I can put many people to sleep, so there you are. Cousin Ken saying that he thinks that Paul Hines is a dynamic player from what he's read. Duffy Lewis now 1 for 2 with 1 away. RBI single back in the second, scoring Larry Gardner. Jake Stahl at third with 1 down. Sweeney from the stretch in the 2-0. Curveball, Lewis, chopper to second. Farrell will go to start for his only play, and in to score is Jake Stahl, and it is now 6-2 Boston. But just as in the Howie Shanks League, no lead is really safe here. If you guys remember that crazy game in round 1, the 1894 Orioles and 1907 Tigers, that was a crazy one. The Tigers had held a commanding lead. The Orioles came back, the Tigers back and forth. And in fact, the White Stockings and Orioles game as well. So definitely would not call this one over yet. The fat lady hasn't even arrived at the park, for heaven's sakes. Heine Wagner 1 for 2, batting with the bases empty. 3 runs in here for the Boston Red Sox here in the 5th. Wagner has grounded to short and struck out. Sweeney deals. Wagner swings on this changeup, base hit left field, and that's the 9th base hit for the Boston Red Sox. And Heine Wagner aboard now for catcher Bill Carrigan. So Wagner with 21 steals in 1912. Great World Series, by the way, 1912. We did it on this channel, actually. 1912 series, the New York Giants against the Boston Red Sox, and you see some of the greatest of the greats there, Mathewson, Smokey Joe Wood, and oh my God, just so many great players. One of the best World Series of all time. I saw on another channel somewhere somebody calling 1985 or 1986 the greatest World Series ever, and I thought maybe that person ought to join Sabre. Don't remember who said it, but they ought to join Sabre. Did a little stream on Sabre yesterday. Hope you guys will check it out. If you're not a member of Sabre, maybe you'll be enticed to think about spending the princely sum of $6.95 a month for a membership to the Society for American Baseball Research. All right, Bill Carrigan 1 for 2. Don't mean to be snarky. I don't see that the 1986. So it was a great World Series, but was it the greatest ever? Well, who knows what the greatest ever was here, but I think 1912, 1975 is going to give it a run. The 1909 series, pretty cool. The 1971 and 79 series, good stuff. So, I don't know. I was going to ask, well, so what about that I didn't? All right, here we go. The 1990 World Series certainly doesn't rank. The throw down by Barney Gilligan, and Heine Wagner caught stealing to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. 3 runs in for the Boston Red Sox, and they now hold a more commanding lead, at least, of 6-2. Yeah, Ken says 1986. Jackass Whiskey feels that Tricky Mike Donlin would have been remembered as great if he hadn't chased skirts and tried to become an actor. Well, Donlin was definitely a superb baseball player. Definitely would agree with that. And one of the 19th century players, and dead ball players, whatever, or dead ball players that does tend to be a little bit more remembered than others. Probably more remembered than Paul Hines, that's for sure. But yeah, Donlin, a supremely talented ball player for sure, Jackass Whiskey. Definitely agree with that one. All right, Buck O'Brien now to face Cliff Carroll, the left fielder. RBI single in the first. Here's the delivery, the 1-2. Carroll swings on this curve, fly ball right field. Hooper ranging back on it at the wall and makes the catch. So one away here, and that will bring up Barney Gilligan, who has gunned down a runner or two in this game, and he's grounded to third twice. So you can't say that Kerrigan goes into the crouch, but rather just that slight bent knee stance, if you will, that catchers frequently used back in the day. O'Brien deals the 1-2. Barney Gilligan swings, come back to O'Brien. O'Brien quickly onto Jake Stahl. So 2 up, 2 down here for Providence here in the bottom of the fifth. And that brings up Jerry Denny. And he is flied out to deep right both times. So Denny could be due here. 6 home runs in the 1884 season for the American Association Grays. O'Brien brings it, the 0-2 to Jerry Denny. Change up, hard ground ball, 3 hopper to short. Wagner throws to Stahl. This one, Stahl's got a chase. This one gets all the way over and bounces off the front of the grandstands on the first base side. And Jerry Denny will make it to second base. Heine Wagner picking up the error. So the third for the 1912 Red Sox. 5 total errors in this game. Arthur Irwin now steps in with 2 down. So Providence with some ground to make up and a chance to do it here with Jerry Denny on scoring position at second. Here's the pitch to Arthur Irwin. Fastball. Irwin swings, chops to short. Heine Wagner with a routine 6-3, provided the throw makes it to Jake Stahl, and indeed it does. So side retired, and we go to the top of the 6th. And it's Boston 6 and Providence 2. Bill Kerrigan steps to the plate now, 0 for 2 today. Struck out, grounded to first. The line on Charlie Sweeney thus far. Charlie Sweeney has worked 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned. So we'll keep that one in mind. 2 strikeouts. Righties not hitting as well against him as lefties last season. And indeed even right now. So right now, right-handers only hitting 183 as opposed to 193 for lefties against Charlie Sweeney. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Fastball. Kerrigan swings. Chopper to short. Irwin to Joe Start for the routine 6-3 put out. Bill Kerrigan. So 1 away for Harry Hooper, who is 1 for 2. He is singled and grounded to short. The Boston right fielder waits for the delivery from Sweeney. Hooper swings, and this one grounded back to Charlie Sweeney. Underhanded toss to Joe Start for the 1-3 put out. 2 up, 2 down here for the Sox here in the 6th. Steve Yerkes now single to right center and grounded to the pitcher. Sweeney ready to twirl it. Here it comes. Cranks. And Yerkes grounder to short. Irwin to his right. Fires it on to Joe Start to retire Steve Yerkes. So Boston goes quietly. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Providence will lead it off here with Jack Farrell. Jack Farrell 1 for 2 in the contest. Singled back in the 4th his last time up. O'Brien kicks and deals the 0-1 fastball, and Farrell lines this right to Heine Wagner. So 1 up, 1 down, and that will bring up right fielder Paul Radford. So sacrificed his last time up, was safe on an error on his first time up in the 2nd. Buck O'Brien with the leg kick and the 0-2 fastball. Radford swings hard, chopper back to the mound. O'Brien making a nice play on it to retire Radford in the side. Or not to retire the side, for the 2nd down. So Charlie Sweeney is 0 for 2. Safe on an error and grounded to the pitcher. So Sweeney would like to get one out there in the pasture somewhere. O'Brien with the 1-2 delivery. Curveball. Sweeney grounded deep to short. Wagner up with it. On to Jake Stahl. And Providence goes 1-2-3. We head to inning number 7. It's the 1912 Boston Red Sox 6, the 1884 Providence Grays 2 here And greetings from Louisville, says Aaron Reed on a Memorial Day 2023. Buck O'Brien, Tris Speaker, and Larry Gardner to bat for the Red Sox here in the top of the 7th. O'Brien helping his own cause with a double to right center back in the 5th. O'Brien coming around to score in this game as well. Sweeney deals the 1-1 curveball. O'Brien, chopper to second. Jack Farrell on to Joe Start for the 4-3 putout, 1 down. And here's Tris Speaker. And I want to check something here. Just give me 1 second, guys. There we go. I just want to check something here. Okay, yep. All good. Just need to check a baseball fact, and did. Here we go. Sweeney deals the 1-0. And Speaker, line drive up the middle. Paul Hines has it. Jack Farrell trying to make a play of that on second, but this just whizzed right by him. So Speaker aboard. And that is the 10th Boston hit. As Larry Gardner has been busy today, he is 2 for 2 with 2 RBI. So Larry Gardner, should the Red Sox win this, is in line for MVP for this game number 2. Sweeney deals. And there goes Tris Speaker, the throw down by Barney Gilligan. This one close, but Speaker in there. So stolen bases aplenty in today's festivities here at Huntington Avenue grounds, as Larry Gardner back in the box in the 0-1 curveball. Gardner swings. Grounder to short, a hard grounder. Arthur Irwin to Joe Start to retire Gardner, but moving to third on the play is Tris Speaker. 2 down, potential 7th Boston run now just 90 feet away for Jake Stahl. Jake Stahl also busy. Sacrifice RBI scoring Speaker in the 1st, and the triple in the 5th to score Larry Gardner. Sweeney brings it home, and Stahl strikes out. It's 6-2, middle of the 7th here. All right, as Aaron Reed channeling his Harry Carey, who would not have been born yet when these two teams were playing, but we always look forward to that. Aaron, thank you very much. Paul Hines steps in. Paul Hines with 2 stolen bases today. He is also 2 for 2 at the dish, with a double and an RBI single. As Cousin Ken says, Sweeney on top of his game once again. Tongue planted firmly in cheek, I'm sure. Charlie O'Brien deals. Here's the 3-0 to Paul Hines. Curveball, and this curveball missing. Just a bit outside, thank you, Bob Euchre, who's also not yet born. And Paul Hines aboard. So Hines with 2 steals today. You can bet that this Red Sox batter will be keeping a close eye on Paul Hines. Joe Start is 1 for 3. Infield single back in the 2nd. And that infield single ended up loading the bases. Ken Castro up with the MV veterinary glove. And I'm guessing there's going to be a sack here, or a steal, or a hit and run. Okay. Gotcha, cousin. O'Brien with a check of Hines, who has an aggressive lead off first. O'Brien with the 0-1. There goes Hines, and the hit and run working perfectly. Joe Start shoots this one up the middle. Hines makes it into third base as Speaker makes the throw into Heine Wagner at short. So runners at first and third for Providence. Nobody out, and it brings up Cliff Carroll, the left fielder, 1 for 3 in the game. RBI single back in the first, scoring Paul Hines. Joe Start at first, and Paul Hines at third. So perfectly executed hit and run, called by manager Ken Ambrose Castro the Ninth or something. Have to give you a kind of fancy name there, Ken. Arrived from Portugal in 1842. We catch on to the Massachusetts version of the game and eventually adopt what would be called the New York game. Made his fortune actually in yak breeding and bought these Providence Grays and has managed them successfully. Your wife gives you a fancy name too. It begins with an A. Mike Donlin has a filmography from 1917 to 1935. Turkey Mike Donlin. All right. So if anybody tells you that yak breeding does not pay off, just ask manager Ken Ambrose Castro the Ninth, late of Portugal, and now residing in Providence and the proud owner-manager of these Providence Grays. All right, Cliff Carroll waits for the O'Brien delivery from the stretch in the 2-0 delivery. Fastball, Carroll swings, chopper up the middle. Yerkes has it to Wagner, but Joe Start with a hard slide will upend him to break up the double play, and in to score is Paul Hines, and the Grays have cut this lead in half. It's now 6-3. Mr. Wrestling says it is easy money. Easy money, that yak breed. That's right. I'm telling you what. I want to return to Ulaanbaatar myself someday. All right. Anyhow, enough of the frivolity. We'll get more frivolous later, I'm sure. Cliff Carroll on at first. And O'Brien deals to Barney Gilligan. Full count. Gilligan swings in the fastball. No, he doesn't. He held up. And it's ball 4. So 2 on, 1 out. And here's third baseman Jerry Denny. It's a very modern sounding name amongst a lot of these guys here. Jerry Denny. Not even a cool nick. Not even a cool nick, does he? Does he have a nickname? Jerry Denny. Just sounds like somebody that could be playing now, as opposed to Heine Wagner or Barney Gilligan, right? You know, now batting for the Seattle Mariners, Jerry Denny. Who knows? All right, anyhow, Denny, 0 for 3, was safe in an error his last time up. O'Brien with a 1-2 delivery. Fastball to Jerry Denny. Fly ball to center field. Speaker ranging back on it. Has it at the wall, and the runners will not advance. So 2 out. And striding to the plate is shortstop Arthur Irwin. He has struck out and grounded out twice. Here's the 1-0. To Irwin, changeup, little bow. Larry Gardner dives and throws from the knees onto Jake Stahl to retire Irwin and Providence. We go to the 8th. It is 6-3. Providence picking up a run on 1 hit, and there are no errors. Big Clue saying that his parents used to live about 600 kilometers north of Ulaanbaatar. Had to go through on their way in out. Ulaanbaatar. Actually, Mongolia becoming a rather progressive country, outlawing the death penalty. Very good for them. Cold country, kind of a cold country, but yeah. So Mongolia, tough, man, tough country. Read their history. Chinese had to build a damn wall to keep them out. All right. Duffy Lewis. He is 1 for 3. With 2 RBI in this game. Sweeney deals the 2-2 pitch. Fastball. And Duffy Lewis looks at a called third strike on the inside corner. So Charlie Sweeney has fanned 4 today, and Honey Wagner 1 for 3. Sweeney sets and delivers. No, we have Olaf Hendrickson into pinch hit, and he promptly smacks one up the middle for a base hit. Paul Hines getting that ball quickly. So Olaf definitely does not sound like Olaf Hendrickson. Does not sound like somebody who would play like Jerry Denny now. Hendrickson used primarily as a pinch hitter even in 1912 with a 321 average. If Jerry Denny with a G and an I. And Sweeney deals. Wait, Gilligan out to have a quick word with Charlie Sweeney. Here's the delivery now to Bill Kerrigan. And the catcher swings and misses. So 2 down. Sweeney picks up strikeout number 5. And it's up to Harry Hooper here to see if he can get Hendrickson around to score. Hooper with a single. He is grounded out then on his 2 subsequent trips to the batter's box. The 2-1. Hooper swings. Fly ball left field. But score that one a F7 to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's Boston 6, Providence 3. Boston poised to take 2-0 lead in this best of 5 in round 2 of the Ken Castro Dead Ball 19th Century Tournament. Jack Farrell has a single in this game. O'Brien winds and deals. Here is the 1-1 pitch. Fastball grounded short. And looks like we do have a substitution here at short base. So Marty Krug in. And he'll be making his first appearance, so he comes in to play short. Heine Wagner is out of the game. And I see no other defensive substitute. Yes, I do, actually. No, no other defensive substitutions. All right, Paul Radford is 0 for 2 batting with the bases empty, 1 down. O'Brien deals the 0-1 fastball. Chopper to third. Gardner coming in on this ball, has to hurry his throw. Radford, good speed, but this time the 5-3 put out does him dirt. So 2 away here for pitcher Charlie Sweeney. Oh, so Mr. Wrestling 2 says, little known fact, Olaf Henriksen was a hand model and thus was only willing to pitch hit. Interesting. That is really, really interesting. See, the things I learn here. I love it. All right. Here we go. Buck O'Brien sets and fires the 3-0 curve. That curveball missing low and outside. Charlie Sweeney, good eye up there, is aboard. Of course, he says might not be true. Even more fun. Even apocryphal things are fun. Unless you're talking about those books in the Bible, then those are called the Deuterocanonicals. But we'll not get off into that right now. For another day, Paul Hines 2 for 2 with 2 steals in there with 2 down. Kerrigan out to speak to Buck O'Brien, now back behind the plate. O'Brien uncorks the 0-1. Boo's going up here on Huntington Avenue grounds, base hit, center field. Sweeney round second, but he will hold right there. So 2 on for Providence and 2 away. And here's first baseman Joe Start. Yeah, and he wore oven mitts, says Jackass Whiskey. All right. So Joe Start having a good game thus far. Buck O'Brien deals the 0-2. Start swings, chopping grounder to second on to Jake Stahl. And that retires the side. We go to the 9th inning. The 1912 Boston Red Sox 6. The 1884 Providence Grays 3. Charlie Sweeney looking strong out there on the hill as Steve Yerkes strides to the plate, grabbing a spoke of ash there from the barrel. Singled back in the second. Grounded out twice. Charlie Sweeney with the 1-2. And Yerkes sends this one foul on the left-hand side. This will get out of play as Carroll makes a try at it. Big Clue saying, you dangle the Maccabees and Esdras. You tease. Yeah, well, let's not forget Bella and the Dragon and Sirac. And yes, we could go on and on. How about it? Charlie Sweeney deals to Steve Yerkes, the 1-2. Oh, this one, curveball, missing outside. Sweeney winning that call, but Steve Yerkes aboard with nobody out. And Buck O'Brien, 1 for 3 in the game. He has a double back in the 5th. I am a heretic. I am a heretic. Proud of it. And Hugh Bradley will come into pinch hit. We'll look at his numbers in the way of time. A 190 average in 1912. And Carroll making the catch in deep left. So we'll have a good look at Cliff. And we're back at the top of the order. Speaker batting with 1 down. Charlie Sweeney into his motion in the 1-1. Curveball. Speaker bounces this one in foul territory on the right-hand side. This one goes foul. Count 1 and 2 in the Gray Eagles. Sweeney throws over. Yerkes back ahead of the Joe Start tag. Sweeney brings it home again. Here's the 1-2. And this one, a wild pitch. Gets by Barney Gilligan all the way to the backstop. And Steve Yerkes moves into scoring position with 1 down here in the top of the 9th. Sweeney needs to try to hold him here. And here is the wind in the 2-2 pitch. And they're going to intentionally walk Speaker to get to Larry Gardner, who is 2 for 3 today. So an interesting choice there by Providence. Here's the pitch to Gardner. Full count. Payoff pitch. This curveball in there for strike 3. And 2 down, 2 on for Jake Stahl. Jake Stahl 1 for 2. Sweeney sets and fires the 2-1. Fastball swung on, and Joe Start will take this to the bag himself at first. Side retired. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Grays needing 3 runs to tie here. And who do we have here? Coming on, Larry Pape will come on to pitch for the 1912 Scarlet Hose in the bottom of the 9th. This will be his first appearance in this playoff in 1912. An ERA of 4.99, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 save. Walked 16, struck out 17. So it could very well be that he's just getting a little bit of playing time here. With a 3-run lead, and Cliff Carroll will lead it off, then Barney Gilligan and Jerry Denny. Cliff Carroll sporting a 1 for 4. Pape finishing his warm-up pitch is the 1-2 to Cliff Carroll. And this one, a big swing and a miss. Strike 3 on the hammer. So 1 down here for catcher Barney Gilligan. And he has grounded out 3 times and walked. Larry Pape with the 1-2. Gilligan chops this fastball. Close play at first, and that's going to be a throwing error on Steve Yerkes. So that is the 4th error. And so the 1912 Boston Red Sox actually leading in errors 4-2, and they're wearing baseball gloves. Go figure. All right, so here is Jerry Denny, who is nothing for 4. Here's the wind and the 1-1 fastball. Jerry Denny swings. Grounded to short. Krug to Yerkes to Jake Stahl, and that's your ball game. And the 1912 Boston Red Sox defeat the Providence Grays and take a 2-0 lead in this round 2 best-of-5 by a score of 6-3. And we will definitely do a recap on this game. So highlights first for Providence. Paul Hines goes 3 for 3 with a double and 2 stolen bases for the Red Sox. Speaker goes 3 for 4, including 2 steals. Jake Stahl 1 for 3, 2 runs batted in. Larry Gardner goes 2 for 4. Buck O'Brien gets the win and goes to 2-0. Charlie Sweeney tagged with a loss. No wins, 1 losses. So let me see. 1 triple in this game hit by Jake Stahl. And only 1 double, actually. 1 hit by Paul Hines for Providence. and one hit by Buck O'Brien. So no big hits here, but errors, errors, errors. All right, let's see. So Buck O'Brien gets the win, as we said, 8 innings, 3 runs. 2 of those runs were earned. Walked 4, struck out 1. Uh, Pape came in and not sure why, but okay, gave him the save. I guess because of the 3 runs or something, I suppose. I don't know. Anyhow, pitched an inning with a strikeout. So Charlie Sweeney getting the loss. 6 runs, 4 earned, walked 2, struck out 6. So Sweeney, um, despite pitching what I would say would be a better game, um, goes to defeat. So let's see who the MVP is of this game here. Stolen bases first. Talk about a lot of stolen bases. So Tris Speaker with 2 for the Red Sox. Paul Hines had 2 for the Providence Grays. Cliff Carroll, let me see, and Farrell each with a stolen base. Duffy Lewis was caught stealing, as was Heine Wagner. Larry Gardner, Duffy Lewis, and Jake Stahl all picking up RBI for Boston. Cliff Carroll picking up 2 for Providence. Paul Hines picks up RBI number 5. Larry Gardner, um, Jake Stahl, and Paul Radford all with sacrifice hits. 2 wild pitches, I should say, by Charlie Sweeney. Larry Gardner making a great play. Left on base, Boston stranded 6, Providence stranded 12. The Red Sox turned a double play. The game-winning RBI, Duffy Lewis, and the MVP, Buck O'Brien. I guess no surprise there. So let's look at our playoff bracket. And the next game, then, will indeed be the 1885 Chicago White Stockings, who, no, will not become the White Sox, but will become a team that we do know, and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. So there we go. Friday Night Magic. That's funny. Well, guys, thank you for coming in. This was fun, as it always is. And Ken Castro trying his best to pull off some gutsy plays as we come to expect him to do when playing in this some early baseball. You are so very, very welcome, Cousin Ken. Always, always, always. Ah, Beatles. It's Seinfeld. George was the hand model. Okay, well, now we know. And as Big Clue asks everybody nicely to please leave a like on your way out. Yeah, guys, that'll do it for tonight. Um, thank you, thank you. It's been a good time. It's been a good time, and be back with some more baseball. I don't know that I'll be. I might. What time is it? 9:39. I might come back with another game. Who knows? Not one I'll be calling, though. All right. My thank you to Robbie Wartburg, Big Clue, Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans, Cousin Ken Castro, Mr. Wrestling 2, um, hanging out with us tonight again. Good to see him. Aaron Reed, MV, nodding off over there in Wales, and Andrew RW603, Mr. Wrestling 2, who's digging on some 19th century baseball. And we got everybody. So thank you guys, and we'll see you round the batting cage. Oh, Jackass Whiskey has a question, so we'll hang on here before we sign out. And this question can be out for the whole chat, of course, I think. In the meantime, just started watching a really wonderful World War I series called Passing Bells on BritBox. It looks to be pretty good so far, so might watch that tonight instead of coming back to do another game. I'm not sure yet. So waiting on Jackass Whiskey's question here. The song, oh, MacArthur Park. Yep. And you're going to invoke Richard Harris again because you're a big Richard Harris fan. Richard Harris did a version of it. I don't know who else did, but the song is called MacArthur Park. But I do know that Richard Harris did do a version of it. So there we go, a little music trivia there. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans, a big Richard Harris fans, and he should be. Richard Harris, great. That's right, great Irish actor. So there we go. So we have our Richard Harris. Reference for tonight, and that's cool. All right, thank you, Jackass Whiskey. Didn't know if you were trying to trip me up there or not, but there you go, MacArthur Park. Cool. All right, guys, see you around the batting cage. There may or may not be an MLB The Show game next. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. See you around the batting cage.